I'm Sunita Akula, today joined by Vikas Srivastava, Senior Engineering Manager at Dell Technologies, former engineer at Google with experience across Cisco and multiple startups, leading a large team in a global enterprise environment. He has seen scale, speed, structure, and chaos. He's seen the system from all the sides, candidate and hiring and employee and also layoff side. Because welcome to Out of Office.
Hey, thanks a lot, Sunita.
Before the titles, before Dell, Google, Cisco, where did you grow up and what shaped your early thinking?
So, Sunita, I belong to Chhattisgarh, Gurbas city, and my early childhood and my complete schooling has been in Gurba only. Actually, saying till 12th, I was not knowing that where to go. It's a general societal norm. You can say that till 10th you are a good student. Then suddenly society starts pressuring that, okay, you are good in maths, just take the mathematics. And that's how I became a PCM student. I did really good on 12th. And as you did good on 12th, engineering was the option. Opted in engineering, and then posted that engineering, obviously during that time 2008 and 9, that was not a good zone for the IT industry, so I pursued my masters, and that's where I became the IT engineer. That's the story.
So, early in your career, did you believe hard work is enough?
Starting few of my early years, I really believed that good work is very much required, and turns out good work is a whisper, but you definitely need some advocates like context and witnesses. Truly saying, I worked with someone very brilliant who has been really awesome on the technical side, did all the work without any drama, but he thought that visibility is a vanity. What happened? The promotions, he always skips those promotions by inches. Whereas another engineer who is as good as him, but he put his 10% on visibility side,
Mhm.
discussing and making networks with the leadership, and making sure that his thought process and technicalities it puts to the business layout. Guess who got promoted fast? So the true point is performance earns respects, definitely, but visibility earns progress.
So, when you experience layoffs, did it make you realize merit isn't that old story?
Truly saying, layoffs taught me that merit is necessary, but it is not protective. I have seen top performance impacted simply because of the business decisions and the timings. It is not the question on their talent, just that it is a bad timing or the business requirement came up. It is being said that the ship takes tons, then even the good swimmers get wet. So there is no question on the talent.
So, we can say organizational restructuring.
Obviously, a lot many things come into that variables, but truly saying the layoffs is not at all a question, always on a question on your talent. There are many variables come into play. You can say a good person got caught up in a bad timing.
As a manager, if you're asked by leadership to lay off a fixed number of employees from your team due to business reasons, how would you decide whom to let go and how would you handle the communication process?
For a leadership, I have to defend my current,
Mhm.
not the futures. So whenever the layoff situation comes or these discussion comes, the leadership has to justify the current. And for a candidate, it's always the three things that whether you are flexible, you are legit, and you are reliable. If a leader who can legitimize you, that I can go and fight for you, and in a simple whiteboard thing, and I need not to go and explain your performance and your presence in the team to the leadership, it means I will be vouching for you. And if that does not happen, and a slight of a second, I think that yes, there is a scope of improvement. Leadership will always go for the business scope.
Mhm.
They have a responsibility for the business scope. There is nothing personal, it's just that, again I'm saying, on that current situation, you are caught up, and your leader had doesn't have all the bits and pieces to save you.
From a tech manager's perspective, during layoffs, what factors are mainly evaluated? individual performance or delivery consistency or attendance reliability or skill relevance to the current tech stack?
See, the layoffs are it's a consolidated decisions, we should say. We do not, none of the organizations plan layoffs. It's a myth that you have a planned layoff. No, layoff just happens. It's a blip in a
Mm-hmm.
system. And
Mm-hmm.
when you have a blip in a system, the decisions are also dependent on that blip. It might be a possibility. Again, I'm saying it's a timing nature. One of it has happened to my career also,
Mm-hmm.
and as a leader, I have seen, I have faced this situation also. Engineers who have been performing really good 3 months before, awesome. Suddenly they hit with some personal chaos or some personal situations. During that time, you hit with the layoff news or the layoff timings. What do you think? As a leader, I have a responsibility. One current project is going on which is high on performance, and we definitely require those key engineers. So during that time, as a leadership, it's very critical to think the leadership's baggage, definitely, to find out that what is currently defendable. So it's a blip, and in that blip you have to survive. I will use Avengers anecdote. When Thanos did the blip, he did not calculated on who is performing, not performing. It was just current. That's the situation. Majority, 75% to 80% of the leadership, they usually get caught up in this blip. And yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's the truth.
When you experience layoffs, did it make you realize merit isn't the whole story?
I got laid off 3 times in my 14 years of careers, and all those 3 times, I want to really blame the organizations, but truly saying, now I'm a leader. When I got laid off, I was a junior engineer, and starting my career started itself in just a span of 1 year itself. Starting career, I got 2 times laid off, and you haven't even got a chance to do a lot of performance, and you cannot say that you have been unethical. All the star points which you say that being laid off, which we read on the books or the podcast, that you should follow as a good employee, you should follow all those things. For a starting career, every engineer, every new joinee, they will be following all those things. They don't know about the culture, so they are most culturally available engineers, you can say. So during that time, I would say, yeah, I started questioning the system itself, that the system is biased, and I'm getting laid off because the system is not good, and there is not a problem with me. But this thought process changed when, as a senior position, I got laid off again. Till that time, it was around 7 to 8 years of experience, and I received another pink slip. And there I realized that I have been performing good. I am a potential engineer, and I had all the good relationships with the management, the system culture and everything. But truly saying, still I got the pink slip. And the worst part is, I have seen the other engineers who have been underperforming, they did not. So that time I realized that merit is always not the key star mark. For a management, there are definitely other parameters. That time I did not realize it. Now, as being a manager, and being in this management for last 4 years, I totally get why leaders took some harsh decisions. There is nothing personal, truly saying. If you have been performing, if you have been working hard, and you have been following all the rules and regulations of being a good employee, it still doesn't give you the protection. I have said that your merit is necessary, but it is not protective. It's just that in that particular situation, your leadership has some other obligations, your leadership has some other thought process, or majorly, I would say, your leadership has a lot of more informations which you don't know. So don't take it to heart. I would still say merit is necessary, but it's not protective.
If performance isn't enough, what actually determines who's stay and who's goes?
Now, relevant is the person who is relevant to the technology or the current work. When we say adaptable, the person has to be flexible. Truly saying, he or she should be molded to any of the situations. Your leader should be having a confidence, and he should not be having any trouble or extra work to be done to legitimize your work. So the key thinking or the key takeaway is you should be portable excellent. So your excellence should be portable for the leader's perspective and the company's perspective. That's how you will safeguard yourself.
How much control does an engineer truly have truly have over their career, and is performance alone enough to secure it?
Uh, I would say engineer only have a control over their skills, their relationships, and their reputations. Other than that, they do not control the market, they do not control the business, and they do not control any of the other outside entity. They can only vouch for themselves, nothing else. I would again say the term is portable excellence. So that's what only you can control, nothing else.
Let's talk about hiring, because where the system exactly begins here. Like companies say they are hire for potential. In your experience, do they really?
I really want to hire for the potential. That is an intent always. But when the timelines are tight
Mhm.
and you have a release at stakes, then predictability often wins. In that scenario, I have a 1 month of deadline, let's see, and in that case, delivery is critical for future. Then hiring someone with a pedigree or the proven experience safer than being a raw potential. It all depends on, but when there is a runway, I have a manager's investment heavily. In that situations, the candidates with unconventional background, I will definitely go for. So again, it's a situational decision. In case of hiring, when we think, we always for a candidate, it is a knowledge that he's getting hired for a long term job. But for a management, the hiring can be of two types, that it's a long term project and it's a very crucial project. We generally see this happening in two industry types. You have a services industry where your service companies are there, and you have a product companies where their pathway is very long. Generally, the services company, they hire very fast. They have to go and assign the engineers to that particular technology very quickly. In those companies, you will find that their hiring spree is really fast, and they want to go for the predictable candidates who are very direct suitable for that particular job. Whereas the product companies, the big MNCs who owns those products, they have a long runway. Their own project goes for years, so they have a lot of chances. Truly saying, in my situation, Dell Technologies, so it's MNC, I own the product, we have a long way run path for 10 years. My thought process of hiring is not for the instant. My thought process for hiring is definitely that it's a long run. I will coach, so I will go for the attitude. Whereas in my team, I have a vendor company who is working the services engineers, and the manager who manages the services engineers, his thought process is totally different, because as being a manager, I'm asking him, I need this engineer in 10 days. What do you think that manager goes for? He doesn't have a time for the teaching, coaching at all. He'll simply go and hire the perfect fit for the technology engineer, and that's how hiring done.
They have a timeline, right? So for senior position, they have a 3 months, 6 months, and
Mm.
also junior position within, you have to close within 1 month and all. Do you have the system? Like, are you guys following?
Yeah, in services company you have it. In
Mm-hmm.
product companies, you generally do not follow that, because as I said, you have so big range for
Mm-hmm.
that particular product.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the leeway comes. That's where in product companies, generally we see in the candidature that you get a call from a HR, and you expect that your all the five rounds of interviews are done, and then you are waiting for a HR, and you should be expecting in a week. But
Mm-hmm.
some big companies, all the FANG, all the MNCs, you generally see the offer letter comes in 2 months, 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that they are rejecting you, it's that they don't have an urgency to hire you. the management itself, if being a senior manager, if my project itself, if I am asking that I will require an engineer, I have a requisition open, but it is urgent, I haven't told it to my HR. It's like, yes, it's a long running project. If I get it in a 3 months, good. 5 months, okay, fine. Beyond that, then I will go and make it urgent. So the time the requisition gets opened and time it becomes very ripe, it's a long for the product companies, whereas in services company it's very quick. So for them, the hiring is purely based out of the potential and the exact match of that technology. For us, the product companies, it's mix of both. I definitely want a potential candidate who is technologically advanced, but is it the only key factor? No, I don't think so.
So, coding interviews are treated as a gold standard. Do they truly measure engineering ability or interview stamina?
I would answer to that that coding standards, the interview pattern for the coding, it touches your mental stamina. But is it the only selection criteria? I don't think so, and none of the teams follow that. Because if you see, majority of the big companies, they have a multiple rounds of interviews. It is the human psyche round, then you have a design round, the technical rounds, then you have managerial round, the HR round. Why this is because and all these rounds, so you have your own points. It's not like that one round is superseding to another round. No, every round you have to pass, and in one round rejection, the HR will take a call. The interviewer, it's himself or herself, will suggest that this candidate might have done average, potential is there, let's go for another technical round. So during our interview process, we see some candidates we hire in 3 rounds, whereas some goes for 7 to 8 rounds also. Why? Because we still see the potential. The coding round definitely touches your mental stigma, but believe me, I have seen many of the engineers who are dud in interviews. It's super bad. But it doesn't mean they're a bad coder. They have been excellent coder. One of my good friend, he really has been a really good coder. He did not got to that company via interview, direct interviews. Later he became part of that company via referrals, and he owns a very complex domain now in that particular company. So does coding round or the interview only is the entering criteria or only your entrance mark? No, it's not. You have other means too, but is it can we avoid it? No, also it's part of the process. You will get to filter out a good candidate there, and it's very helpful in this nature.
Have you seen exceptional engineer rejected because they didn't perform in that format?
I haven't seen. I think I would say I have done so also. Being part of the interview panel for last 7 to 8 years, I myself have rejected many engineers because they haven't performed good on the interviews. Because this is one of the key criteria. We have to understand what is the interview. Interview is putting you under stress. Our general day-to-day corporate life or the engineering work is not I won't ask any of my engineers to write DFS code on the whiteboard every day. No, that's not part of the job. But what is part of the job is you will be asked to do the debugging at 2 a.m because there is a production failure. You will be asked to be available and technically strong under that stress. And it becomes very prominent when you are in a mid-section layer, means from engineers of 5 years experience till 15 years of experience. This is what you are getting paid, not for your technological advancement. You're getting paid because you absorb that pressure also, and in that pressure you perform. So interview gives you that particular zone, whether you are taking that stress properly or not, how are you reacting to it. Many a time myself have selected engineers who haven't given me the answers, simply not given me the complete answers, not optimized code. And I would say whoever is listening to this podcast, the managers, engineers, hiring folks, they will agree to that. They have done this job. But what is the key mark why I have selected that engineer is because he performed, he did not give up to the stress. He was always in his critical thinking that, okay, can I solve it? Should there be another optimized solution? though he himself has not got the proper solution, but still the attitude shows that, and that wins. It's so the interview is a culmination of your character analysis, your technical analysis, and your communication analysis. All these things accumulate, and the trait during that time the interviewer thinks that is very much required for the team, that trait wins. Again, the timing, but yes, interview in those interview process, if the question is have you rejected, yes. Have you selected and bypass that process also, yes. So it is true for all the scenarios.
So let's talk about referrals. Do referrals quietly influence decision more than people admit?
I'm getting a referral for any of the candidate, then it is kind of I am relying and I have a credibility run over my that referee. Visibility gives you progress, and networking is the part of visibility. And in this complete sense, I would say networking is purely the term. I would say that it is exchange of evidence that this particular engineer, I'm vouching for that particular engineer. That's the referral stands for. It's really helpful.
So is networking sometimes more powerful than pure knowledge?
I have joined a company which is very fresh formed, and I am the first manager or a director who is joining that company. And my first task is to create your own team from the scratch. What do you think I will do? I will first and foremost to go and reach out to my best engineer from the previous company and hire him or her, because this is where the credibility comes. So the build up of the team itself starts from the referral basis. I'm not cheating. I'm just using my experience and my credibility for that team because I have been tasked for that delivery. So it's very simple. It's very human in nature. And opposite to that also works because if as an engineer I'm taking a risk, and it is also applicable being an engineer or being a manager, if I'm shifting my domain altogether where I don't have any references, previous references at all, and I got a chance to shift my domain altogether, and I have been tasked to work towards it, then I have to go with the interviews. Then referral doesn't work because I don't have a past experience at all. It's a blend of both, but for a leadership, if I have exchange of evidence, and I would run towards it. It's I have been doing it, and it is giving me a great results.
Culture fit is a popular term.
Mm.
Does culture fit sometimes become comfort with similarity?
It should not be, but it tends to. There is a very fine line between culture fit and similarity. It's always human. We it is being said that every human being comes with their own frequency and antenna,
Mhm.
and it's very prominent in your social life, in your personal life. You have your own frequency ranges going on. Why will you not adapt to it in a professional life? You will have it, but leadership has to have this one-on-one discussions and the self dialogue
Mhm.
always in a perspective of team, that when this is becoming oneness, because your team will perform when there is you say there is a term in Hindi na anekta mein ekta. So when you have a diversity, your productivity goes because you have a different thought process going on. Culturally you want to tend, that's why you say the company culture. The term is not derogative, it's being proudly used in all the companies. Every company talks about their own culture because they don't want to go beyond that culture. It gives you a proper direction, and if someone is not fit to that, it creates more chaos than the productivity. So leadership has to have the culture sameness, but the thought process on that, there should be an ekta, I would say, and leaderships do that.
How can leaders avoid hiring clone of themselves?
The cloneness is on the culture, the cloneness is not on the discussions. None of the leaders act in industry, you will find any leader who has been doing the favoritism on their own decisions have not succeeded. They always go for a team who challenges their thought process, the technical thought process. If you are in a finance, then you will marketing or finance, you will want your team who can challenge your thought process. Those leaders only come up with a great product or a great result. Otherwise you will go for mediocrity, and no, the company does will tolerate the medium way, but not for a long. If you want to move forward, then you have to be bold and you have to get challenged, even the leadership.
If companies were brutally honest about hiring, what would they admit publicly and that they don't today?
I said it. They would definitely say that we are hiring for the current decisions. We have to defend the current situations. And it is not solving the word problem or solving the very big questions. No. Hiring is very, very on the current situations. And company has, they don't admit it.
If hiring were fully honest, what would companies admit?
Hiring is totally entirely objective, and if companies have would have to be honest about it, then they will admit that hiring is part science and a part risk management.
Let's talk about high performance, toxic high performance. And can a high performing team still be toxic?
Definitely. I myself have faced this situation in one of the biggest MNC. I won't quote them. The performance, the toxic environment is, I won't say that the environment is toxic for any of the company. What do you mean by toxicity? Toxicity means that engineers, they, very small traits, they start, they stop taking the blames. They start feeling that taking a day off is a performance miss. They stop questioning any of the decisions or any of the feedbacks, and any critical thinking or a context or a feedback for that particular engineer, it becomes a very red mark. This is a toxicity. Generally, in high performing team, if we see the toxicity, it means all those engineers are working as a sole Sachin Tendulkar kind of person. You feel like that you are the only responsible for the entire team. That's a toxicity. The team doesn't grow in that way. High performance toxicity, it's a reality. We see that thing happening in many of the teams. That happens. And should we avoid it? Yes, we definitely avoid it. But should it be prolonged? It definitely cannot be. But yes.
When the numbers looks good, do leaders ignore emotional red flags and when metrics look strong?
Leaders love numbers, and if they see the green graph and the performance and velocity of the team going up in the stack, and they get rewarded for it, isn't it? And leaders love it. But should any of the leaders, when it becomes I would say the word is episodic, means the high performance and the burnout, it has to be an episode. It cannot be a full series. Your team cannot be built over it, and leaders understand it. So does leader, they overlook into it? They definitely, because they are seeing the numbers. Should they overlook into it? Not for a long time. There is a fine balance between the leadership has to provide that my team is not always burnt out. They are not always into a high performance and this completely sprint mode. A sprint is always for 100 meters, 200 meters, or 400 meters. A sprint we do not do for the marathons.
So, have you ever kept a high performer longer than you should have?
I really feel still that thought lingers me, because that created a problem, and it demoralized my entire team. And just again, I said, as a, it's a leadership dilemma, because you have one very high performing engineer who is not gelling well with the team, and then creating very bad impact. He or she herself might be doing a lot of good work, but at the cost of the team is not performing. I made a mistake of prolonging the stay of that particular engineer. I reflected late onto the team, but yes, that decision made little late. I could have done that decision sooner.
So, what's more dangerous, a weak performer or a toxic high performer?
But dangerous, I would say the toxic high performer. Toxic weak performer is a technical obligation which you can overcome with
Mhm.
technical knowledge, and with the help of, obviously, now with the AI. So you can always overcome the weak performance, but toxic environment, you cannot deal with it for a long time. So that's more dangerous.
So, have you faced that toxic environment?
I have been. Each and every engineer, any leader who says that they haven't faced it, they will be lying. You will always face this toxic environment, and you have to deal with it. You have to have a fine balancing with it. You will win someday, and you will lose some days. But yes, that's the reality.
So, brutally, when someone says, I'm just being honest, is it clarity or ego?
I would say the honesty should always come with empathy. Being honest doesn't mean that you hurt someone else's feeling, and being a leader, you don't have that luxury. The leaders who always say that I am being honest, but they take the emotions out of that honesty, you are jeopardizing the front person or the third person's full confidence. You have a power of making and breaking. Being honest does not give you power to insult. Being honest always have to be factual, have to be grounded, and very very empathetic. That comes with the leadership.
So, high performance without psychological safety, is that sustainable?
No, not at all. The worst part is it's not just the leadership who should be recognizing the high performer. The recognition comes from the team, and it's very not common, because that high performance engineer is providing help to all the engineers, taking a load for a lot many engineers. You are training your junior engineers, providing your help to the colleagues, you are giving feedbacks and presentations to your managers or your leadership. You are available, almost available 24 cross 7, day and night. Your team knows, your leadership knows, but if you do not get recognition, then yeah, you burn out and you just go out.
Because let's talk about dark side of leadership. Who do leadership talk to when they are unsure?
Generally the leaders, they talk to their seniors, their co-peers. But I would be honest, it's generally a quiet time with your Google Doc at 1 a.m. The leader talks to themselves. It's very alone job. You cannot truly saying you do not have a luxury to put any doubts in your team. So it's alone.
Which weighs heavier, being laid off or laying someone off?
Laying someone off, without any doubt, because that stays with you. You have you go through, you do not remember the decisions being take you remember the names. That's more painful point. You remember all the discussions went with that particular person, and that thought kills you, and it is always with you at life, always.
I will say a manager can be in touch with a like employee. If layoff also, that's a good thing to follow.
This complete responsibility lies with the candidate who got laid off. The
Mhm.
leader who is laying off, that person is already under some guilt,
Mhm.
and he or she will not actually saying, I will talk up on personal basis, I won't take it on
Mhm.
leadership. if i
Mhm.
if this has happened with me, I have laid off some good engineers, but will because this is the leadership has to take that blame, and we feel sorry for that. It's not the decision which we took, it is the circumstances which made us take this particular decision. And because of that burden, will I be comfortable talking myself upfront with that particular candidate? That's a lot of pushiness. I will not do that, I am not comfortable doing that. But will I stop talking to that candidate or that particular engineer after that incident? No, I will not do that either. So the engineer or the person who is on the receiving end, if they should be open, and they should not take it personally, because none of the leadership or the managers are taking the decisions for the person on a personal level at all. There's nothing personal there. It's just that on that decision, the business priority took preference than the personal relations.
So, is managers clearly communicating to the employees why they are laying off? They're telling about organizational restructuring or keep on blaming a HR.
I answered it in previous thing. The honesty comes with empathy. You cannot be honest and brutal. If you're doing that, then it is the truth only helps you if it is easing your pain. I have been on both the sides. I got laid off also, and I had to play the part where I had to give the decision for the laying off. In all my three previous layoffs, I really remember one layoff where I have been insulted. Means there the person informing me about the layoff, he or she was not properly, I would say, empathetic for that. So it was brutal honesty. Even if there is an organizational shift, you cannot put a blame onto the engineer or the person. You have to be empathetic. Being honest is good, but you cannot have the feelings. Be empathetic. That's very much required.
Do leaders ever fully recover from decisions that hurt people?
No, they do not. It lives with you. This thought of uh, I'm getting being laid off, I have overcome with it without any trouble now. I mean, because that was the tough part, and then when you are in a safe zone, you do not remember those things. But giving a news to someone about laying off, that thought never goes away, because it's kind of you feel culprit for that. It's not a good feeling. You do not overcome from that.
So, have you observed blame to protect your team?
Yeah, it, every leader has to. I am a leader because there is a team. If there is no team, how can I call myself a leader? The team has to feel safe about myself being under me. My job is to provide them oxygen and put a heat upwards. So follow the oxygen downwards and take the heat from the team. There are so many decisions and informations leader have to do, and filter it out for the team so that they feel safe, and every leader does that. If you are not doing this thing, then you will not be a leader. You cannot be a manager or a director. No, you do not have that trait.
So, what's one decision you made that people dislike but you still stand by?
uh, the one brutal thing which I did, or I would say honestly, that irked my complete management and team, is delaying the release itself. So this situation generally comes from the leadership perspective or the release manager perspective. I had taken a very harsh decision of delaying the release itself because the math was not adding up. The leadership or the PDMs, the ask was that okay, you will go and deliver it, and but in my mind, the quality was not top notch, and I had to delay it, no matter what the cost. I was hated that time. To be saying, I fear that I will be fired that time again, but the leadership we have to be very honest with self, and generally this is oversight, overlooked by the management, that the near goals, the very quick results, generally we want for that, but the far ahead benefits which we receive, that is overlooked. So as a leader, I did this thing, and I'm proud of it, because the far fetching results were really really good. Team was safe.
What's a leadership truth LinkedIn will never say out loud?
That leadership is not about power, it's about emotional burden. You will see whenever the designation comes in front of you, you feel like that person is powerful. The harsh reality is it's a lot of emotional burden. you are you are in that flux of a delivery, and then managing the resources too. It's LinkedIn doesn't talk about that.
AI pressure and relevance. Multiplier or replacement? Is AI a productivity multiplier or a replacement engine?
I would say AI is reducing the repetitive task and multiplying the productivity. The people who thrive all on the AI, like before multiplier, not a pretty trick. I would say.
Will AI replace engineers or rise the bar for engineering?
No, AI will not raise engineers, but the engineers who are using AI will definitely replace the engineers who are not using AI.
If AI removes average performance, what becomes the new baseline for excellence?
Judgment. You, it's not about the execution anymore, the harsh reality of AI. It's always about the last result, and it has always been in the system. But now with AI, I don't care about the executions. It is executing. Give me the last judgment.
If AI can write a code, what's the left for engineers?
Adapt and enhance. You have to adapt it to the reality and enhance yourself with it. It has always been the human evolution, isn't it? When we were having, we did not have a calculator's ledger. The pen and paper was there. When calculator came, we shifted to that. Then computers came, we shifted to that. Now we have Excel sheets. Now the new evolution came. You need not to write the sheet numbers. You need not to learn the coding syntaxes. No, you have to learn the semantics. The AI, as an engineer, you have to go to the core of the logic. The only thing AI is will be helping you is that it will speed up your process, the execution time, not the context. You will have to come up with the context, and you have to enhance to it. Every engineer from starting till the end of the ladder, they all have to just get the context right and use the tool given to you.
What skill remain irreplaceable even in an AI driven world?
Your learning agility, it overcomes all your tools, whatever tools. We have to understand AI is yet another tool. Well, there is a famous statement from our Infosys founder Narayan Murthy, that when you get a new tool, it doesn't mean that that tool is replacing you. No, it is solving some of the questions. Human mind is so powerful, it will come upon a new set of questions. So this is a new tool. You will come upon the new set of questions. It is on our day-to-day life, and my company and every company who is using the AI.
Yeah. Let's talk about long term relevance.
Hmm.
So, if someone wants to stay and relevant for the next 20 years,
Hmm.
what should they build beyond technical skill?
But you have to be visible. Visibility gives you progress. Technical advancement gives you definitely the trust, but visibility has to happen. You have to be very vocal. You have to make your relationships, all these tools and everything, and it has been throughout these entire generations. Nothing can beat your human relations. Nothing. Even in your bad times, even in your good times, every place, one thing which will always be constant and which will always overcome whatever technical advancement comes is human relationship.
In a world obsessed with speed, what should never be rest?
Trust. It takes time, means the trust with a person, on a product, on a team, on a company, you cannot expedite it. It cannot be. It doesn't work that way. You will always take time to trust on the product. You will always take time to trust on your team, and it's reciprocal. You will always your team will always take time to trust you as a leader.
So, hiring for potentially myth or reality?
It should be aspirational, and potential wins, but aspiration is the trick.
Referrals, fair advantage or hidden bias?
Legit advantages, the context, not cheating.
Brilliant jerk, tolerate or remove?
Exit faster if the coaching is not good.
Hustle culture, ambition or burnout?
It's a sprint. It cannot live for longer.
Leadership, influence or pressure?
Service under pressure.
Layoffs, strategy or system failure?
Strategic, but still human.
AI, multiplier or disruptor?
Multiplier.
One word for today's engineers.
Adapt.
One word for today's leaders.
Listen.
If someone listening fails, filtered out unfairly, burnout in a high performing team, or overwhelmed stepping into leadership, What uncomfortable truth should they accept early?
Uh, I would say the first truth is not your fault.
Mhm.
Accept the reality and exit if you are not meant for it. You are not bound to carry out a burden and at the cost of your peace. If you are not fit for the job, literally just exit.
So, what engineer do when they burn out, and what leadership do when engineer burn out?
Any engineer who is burning out or any leadership who sees their engineers burn out, only remedy is you communicate, take very proactive, and just talk it out. There is always a missing information between these two sides. It's not intentional burning out. As I said, we had discussed the burning out is can happen for very small time for epoch, but it cannot go prolong. So if it is going or prolonging for a long time, then there has to be a healthy communication. Your one-on-ones, it is very helpful. If you're engineer, if you're, it might be a possibility that your leader himself or herself is a burned out. In that case, you have to be proactively asking for one-on-ones and discussions. So that's the key. You cannot sulk alone. You cannot.
So, let's talk about hiring and firing dynamics in current scenario.
In current situation, there is a lot of firing and pink slips being sent out. But is there a same trajectory for the hiring itself? I feel so. No, we are the market is going into that firing mode. It's constantly last 1.5 year we are into that constant firing mode. But we forget the maths. During COVID we were in a hiring mode. So the entire industry post during COVID time and post that till 22 2020 2020 till 2022, the entire industry was in a good hiring mode, giving and sending out the offer letters left, right, center. So there is a course correction, and to this course correction, the one thing very strong variable which came inside is AI. There is no denying that AI is doing a lot of job. It is replacing your some conventional profiles. In many places, the bulk jobs were coming from the services industry, from the support staff, in the technological field, from your BPOs, from your chatbots. Everything was the bulk staff, where a lot of human resource were getting deployed. AI just replaced them in a blip, and it is getting smarter and smarter. Though we are getting the results, and some CTOs, some companies, they are recognizing that AI is not that strong. It is having its own limitations, but those limitations can be handled by previously, if you are having a fleet of 500 people, those limitations could have been handled by 50 engineers only, or 50 peoples. So there is a reduction of 90% directly because of this advancement. So the truth is, do we have a similar hiring and firing trajectory? No. Firing is rampant. It's going fast. There is no denial. And in similar way, are we going for hiring? No, we are not.
Let's talk about manager view. If some companies do they conduct assessment tests? Do they necessary for senior who is sitting in the position? For them is required assessment test also.
Yes, everyone. Even the biggest evaluation happens on the management side only. As soon as I'll just tell, in my current portfolio, each and every company have their own feedback loop mechanism. Every company, small or big, they have to have a management feedback loop. You cannot give power to the managers or the directors as ultimate weapon. No, they, as I said, it's a myth that this position is a power. No, it's an emotional burden, and that emotional burden comes with a cost. The feedback loop which the company receives on the management side, you will find many of the companies firing the leadership or the managerial staff because of the feedback, and those feedback are anonymous. The worst part is, when leadership gives you any feedback to any of the engineers or their subordinates, so that's a one-on-one, that's very honest and very without veils, it's unveiled. But when manager or a leadership receives a feedback, it's totally anonymous. So it's more brutal for the leadership. than the subordinates, and you do not get any explanations also.
So, one word for listener.
Complete atmosphere of the IT industry from the leadership and the engineers perspective. I would say that if you are feeling neglected or rejected or demoralized in this system, don't take it on yourself. One thing which system cannot take out from you is your skill, your network, and your narrative. If you hold on to that and if you feel and keep working on the same, the sun will rise again. No one can stop it.
Clarity doesn't make it easier, but it makes it real. Because thank you being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sunita. Pleasure is again all mine.